Hey, this is Annie, and before we begin, a little bit of context. So back in February, I quit my job as a designer at Ogilvy, and then shelter in place happened, and now I just have a lot of free time. As does a lot of people, but I wanted to spend some of that time sharing my experiences as a designer, specifically in the ad agency realm. And this will be about how I landed a job as a designer with no design degree slash no ad agency degree slash not going to ad school, not going to design slash art school. And these are my 3 tips interwoven with my story, and let's begin. So tip number 1, hack your education. So because you don't have any experiences, you're gonna need to make some. And so for me, what that looked like was that on one hand, when I was in UC San Diego, I was in The Guardian, which is the school's newspaper, and I was an illustrator there. And what I had initially presented to them was illustrations in the style of, it was more painting slash more fine art slash traditional art. But once I got in there, I was like, just kidding, I'm gonna do a more digital approach. And so that was my first taste of, playing with Illustrator and Photoshop. And what I turned out was not good, quite frankly. It was really bad, and I might show some examples, but the other thing was for classes, because my discipline was in studio art slash more fine art, they're pretty lax, and so I kind of took advantage of the lax policy. And so for me, what that looked like was that I, instead of saying I'm gonna do painting and whatnot, I kind of said I'm gonna do digital painting. So I was still playing with the programs, and I think to extend that one step further, YouTube tutorials. I think in college I realized, this sounds really bad, but I was kind of like, why do I need the professors? Because one of my classes, actually, I'm not gonna say who slash what slash where, but what I will say is the professor straight up showed us YouTube videos, and that was our class, and I was like, why do we need you again? And so this is why I'm like, you can just hack your education. And so that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, which is side projects. So side projects are really important because they showcase who you are, your passions, and your skills. And they make for an excellent usage of building up your portfolio. So when I think of side projects, I think 2 people pop up for me. One is Andy J. Pieksa, and the other is Lauren Hom. Both are amazing creators and really good at the business side of things too. And I'll probably link them below in the description somewhere. But essentially, one of the things that Lauren Hom says anyways is she has this metaphor, right? And I'm probably gonna butcher this metaphor, so excuse me, but essentially the metaphor is, it's pretend you're a bakery, right? And in your bakery, let's say your bakery is your portfolio, and you like to create donuts, and that's kind of your main thing. And so when someone walks in, they see donuts and they know that that's your expertise, that's your skill, and you like doing it. Slash, I would at least hope that you do, because a lot of the times you're not going to create side projects that you're not into. I don't know, unless you do, which is kind of weird. I don't know why you would spend your free time doing things that you don't want to do, if it's for like a side project. So yeah, usually your side projects are what you're passionate about. And so if someone sees a donut, they'll know, that's what you do. And so that's what side projects are good for. So in that same breath of vein, if they see a donut in your portfolio, they're probably not going to ask you to build a cake unless it's a donut cake, just because it's a little different, right? And so that's why side projects are important. And in my case, I kind of used side projects to get a step up in my application. What I mean by that is, so I think before applying to jobs, what I did was I kind of researched gimmicky things just because, I don't know, I kind of like doing gimmicky things sometimes. But essentially, for my side project, one of the things that I was also looking into was posters. And so I remember coming across a bunch of designers who, after they finished creating their posters, they would mock it up of them holding it. And to me, I was kind of like, why don't you just put it as a mock-up on a wall? Like, why are you holding it? That makes no sense. So I kind of wanted to, you know, make fun and mock that a little bit. And so what I ended up creating was a series of posters that correlated with my skill set slash, essentially it was a creative video resume. And so here's an example. And I'll probably showcase like a still frame of it, but essentially it was something to the effect of a poster that one of the posters anyway said, "Where is my head?" And then the kinetic topography post, or sorry, kinetic topography video kind of said, "My head has been at, you know, where I went to school, and then now my head wants to be at insert company." And so that was kind of my fun take on a creative resume, and I think it's especially important to have fun elements within your portfolio, or maybe you're doing a fun creative resume like I did, but it's nice because it makes you stand out. Tip number 3, get out. What I do mean is connect. Reach out, right? But like not physically. So I have to say that just in case. And so when we're talking about connecting, what we're talking about is, you know, this notion that whatever you connect with afterwards slash the trajectory of your life slightly changes or dramatically changes. But in essence, it's a butterfly effect. So in my case, I connected with some of my friends who essentially convinced me to join an advertising club on campus. And through that, I'm going to say that butterfly effect, I found some resources were introduced to me that helped me land where I am today. And I'll share 2 of the resources, one being We Are Next. So We Are Next is an open resource for students and junior talent looking to make it into the advertising and marketing industry. And then the second thing being MAPE. So the 4 A's MAPE, and this stands for the Multicultural Advertising Intern Program. And it's super neat because if you're selected as a fellow, they'll pair you up with a prospective agency. Those are the 2 things, and yeah, that's tip number 3, which is connect and slash, I like saying slash a lot, but connect and resources. So those are the 3 tips on how I became a designer with no design degree. So tip number 1 is hack your education. So no matter where you start, you can end up anywhere. But in order to end up where you want to be, you have to have experience. And tip number 2 is side projects. So side projects showcase your skills, who you are, and your passions. Tip number 3 is connect slash resources. Your connections help build your resources. And when you take actions on your resources, that's when things will happen. So those are the 3 tips, and hopefully they're helpful, and if they're not, I tried. But yeah, I'll probably be doing more videos in this realm for a while, and yeah, hope to see you for the next video whenever that might be, because I don't know, I'm like not consistent at all. So but thank you for watching, and see you around.